I'm Michael Watts. I was born and raised in Corpus Christi. I went to high school there, went off to the University of Texas. I got a degree there in 2 years and stayed at the University of Texas and went to law school, where I also finished in 2 years and got my law degree at age 21. Spent a year clerking for the Texas Supreme Court and then went back home where I practiced law in Corpus Christi for a number of years. We recently moved to San Antonio, and I lived in San Antonio with my wife, Tammy, of 14 years, the best thing that ever happened to me. We have 3 wonderful kids. My daughter Taylor's 13, my daughter Haley is 10, and my son Brandon is 9 and a handful. I was drawn to the legal profession because both my parents were lawyers. My mom was a school teacher for 8 years, and while she had 4 kids under the age of 12, she would make breakfast in the mornings and literally get on Southwest Airlines 3 times a week and go to law school at South Texas College of Law and come home on Southwest at 11:30 at night. She did that for 3 years, and that really was a great motivation to me to go into the law. My love for public service really started very early when I was a kid. My grandmother was the world's best Democrat. Ask anybody in Corpus Christi about Penny Dudley and they'll tell you there's never been a better Democrat. She was in the English labor union movement when she met my grandfather during World War II and came back to Chicago and settled in Corpus Christi and was always very active in the political process. I remember growing up, weekends at our house, the idea of a hot date was going down to the local union hall and stuffing envelopes. And we did that a lot with our grandmother, and it kind of created the passion within me for the importance of the political process and why we do it, and the importance of what's involved there in terms of the kind of representation that we get in Washington and on the state and local levels as well. Since I announced my exploratory committee on June the 1st, I've traveled around all portions of Texas, and I've talked to hundreds of Texans, hundreds and hundreds of them actually. And what's become real clear to me is that Texans want real leadership. I've spent my entire professional career fighting for Texas families, and I'm real proud of that. I think Texans want a senator who will fight for their interests and not the special interests. Texans are demanding serious change, and they're demanding real leaders in Washington. As Texans, we've come to expect leaders like LBJ, senators like Lloyd Benson, members of Congress like Barbara Jordan, Texans who serve our nation like Dr. Hector P. Garcia. What we don't expect are partisans like John Cornyn. As our senator, he's proven that he is not a leader who will fight for all of us. He's become a passive partner to Karl Rove, to the Bush administration, and to the special interests in Washington. He hasn't been effective in showing real leadership, and he hasn't been a fighter for regular Texans. John Cornyn has proven that he will not deliver. I can, and I will. I've been a fighter my entire career, fighting for the rights of average working families here in Texas. And I've proven that I'll stay in that fight and give it my all until we win. Texans are looking for a senator who is a leader, who will fight for them. Someone who will fight for families here in Texas rather than for special interests there in Washington. I'm certain that as we travel around the state and meet more and more good Texans, that my message of real leadership and real change in Washington is a message that's going to hit home here in Texas. I'm confident that Texans will join me in this fight. If you want to join our fight to restore real leadership and accountability to our nation's capital, I invite you to learn more about me and our campaign on this website. I want to hear from you. You can call at 210-757-4665 or email me at michael@wattsforsenate.com. As I embark on this journey, I truly hope to earn your support and your help. Thank you.